Do you want to slam a few Negronis and get in there with one of these dames?
You're still listening. This is our final transmission.
We're here. Welcome to Final Transmission. It's me, Sam Russo. It's Jamie Carruthers. It's one horror movie from the dawn of time till the end of time. How are you doing today, Jamie Carruthers?
I'm doing fantastically. We just had a very incriminating conversation over on the Patreon.
Why do we insist on putting ourselves in such a vulnerable position on our Patreon?
Because nobody's listening.
Yeah, good point.
Nobody wants to
Great,
give us their $5 a month or whatever at patreon.com/final transmission to hear us incriminate ourselves and talk about our sordid pasts.
Yeah, at this point, it's just basically therapy. It's black box therapy.
Yeah, except neither of us are a good therapist, so it's just
Speak for yourself.
just saying stuff.
It's just us screaming at the lid of our coffins. Welcome to Final Transmission. Let's get more of the same going here. Jamie, do you want to tell us what the heck in the hootenanny are we doing here today?
Well, so this month we are talking about rip-off horror movies. This week we're talking about The Collector, which I have picked as a rip-off of Saw.
Yep.
I'm not sure if we could call it a rip-off of Saw for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
The primary reason being it was originally written as a Saw prequel.
By a Saw writer.
Yeah.
So it's
He'd
Saw.
stubbed his toe just before he started writing it, and so he was quite sore.
Good joke.
Thanks, mate.
I'd love that you had to explain it. It's my favourite part of any joke is when someone explains it to me.
Well, yeah, I think.
I wish you'd explain a fucking paradox to me. That would have saved us some fucking time. Explain a stub toe joke to me.
Well, paradox is.
See? Shut up, you dumb bitch. So the collector.
Yeah.
What's he collecting? What's he building in there?
What are they called?
All of the questions.
What are those things with the big eyes? Funko Pops.
Funko Pops. Funko Pops, Furbies, and Beanie Babies. I hope so. Did I watch the wrong movie?
Maybe you did. So, yeah, it shouldn't be a rip-off of Saw, but it is because it started off life as a Saw prequel, and then they decided to not make it a Saw prequel and make it its own thing, and changed, I guess, just enough to make it not quite Saw, really.
I guess, yeah. It's more Home Alone than Saw at this point.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons why this has been on the list, and I kind of maybe built this rip-off month around this, was that I wanted to talk about The Collector with you specifically because I know how much you love a little John Hughes movie called Home Alone.
I do have a big place in my Christmassy heart for Home Alone. Here's a question for you, though.
Go on.
Do you know what the original title of this movie was? It's great.
Go on, tell me.
It was originally called The Midnight Man.
Well, yeah.
It's so bad.
It is.
But so good.
The Midnight Man Train. You've been
The
there.
Midnight Man. Midnight Man is both the best and the worst movie title in quite some time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up there. It just reeks of lost Black Flag songs. I like it a lot.
I can hear Rollins repeatedly saying Midnight Man.
Midnight Man. Midnight Man.
Midnight?
Midnight Man.
Man.
Yep, in a smoky cafe.
Yeah.
In the early days of his spoken word career. Sure. Or throw that in the bin and call it The Collector for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, he does collect. I mean, I have some questions about everything.
Yeah.
But this is a movie that I have seen before, and I kind of remembered really enjoying it. We'll maybe get into whether that was misguided or misremembered later. But
Okay.
I always kind of had a bit of a soft spot for it as like the horror Home Alone.
Yeah. Is there a horror Home Alone? Is there just a straight up like it's Home Alone but horror? Like does anyone lean into it? Does anyone rip that off?
I feel like this might be the nearest thing you're going to get. If we're doing a synopsis, we're going to jump ahead and do a synopsis now. The movie is about a criminal that breaks into a house, but the house has already been broken into by a serial killer by the name of the Collector, who has set up numerous traps in order to catch someone for some reason. Not quite sure why.
Well done.
And the robber has to try and evade these traps in order to, survive the night in a kind of Home Alone-ish fashion.
Yeah, you're answering a lot of the questions that I had by posing the questions without answers yourself. So that's reassuring. The Collector. Well, I mean, listen, man, you've synopsisized it. It came out in 2009,
Yeah.
right? So we're talking fairly modern horror. I mean, if we're clinging to the idea that 2009 is recent.
Yeah, I mean, it's very derivative of Saw. It's shot in fucking 2009 fucking greener vision, so it looks like shit.
Oh, it looks so rough.
It has 2 steps removed terrible 7 titles, which
Yep.
in theory could be cool if the text wasn't in Arial. Like this jittery Arial text jumping around the fucking... Oh my God,
Arial,
why?
what a choice. What a choice. I mean, would you have preferred Arial or Comic Sans?
I think Comic Sans would have been better.
Why?
Fucking
More accessible.
put it in Wingdings. Jesus Christ.
Give me those webdings. Yeah, definitely some very 2009 choices made here. And unashamedly so. It does seem to own, for better or for worse, the year that it's made in.
Yeah. And like...
It sounds so patronizing to say that about something that came out in 2009, but there is such a clutch of tropes that movies were just hammering to fuck in this period. I even remember seeing it and thinking, this is gross. When is this going to end at the time?
Yeah.
You know? I'm not trying to be a dick. It's everywhere.
Yeah, well, we talked about it a bit when we talked about the hazing. Like the sort of jittery camera stuff that it's... I mean, that movie ended up being way better than all of those sort of awful early 2000s tropey things that it kind of had to do a little bit just to get made, I guess. But like...
For sure.
This does everything, and it's just it kind of hurts.
If like straight out the gate you're seeing all that crap that you know you dislike. Like I know for a fact there's very few movies that do that jerky, janky industrial music, font flying all over the place, green everything.
Yeah.
To lead you into a movie that then becomes a great film or a really positive experience.
Yeah.
There's a few notable exceptions. Some movies do it partially and it works out fine in the end.
Well, like The
And
Hazing kind of does fit into that. But yeah, the horrible sort of industrial techno.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a scene in this, and I don't understand why. And I'm jumping ahead, but it's not a spoiler, where the daughter and her boyfriend show up, and they're listening to fucking Bela Lugosi's Dead by Bauhaus. And I don't believe that either of those characters would ever even know who fucking Bauhaus are.
Yeah. What Bauhaus has such an interesting place in popular culture, right? It's referenced a lot in movies by people noted as an influence in a lot of modern music.
But only that one song, right? Like people, if you asked 1,500 people to name one
two Bauhaus songs, they're gonna name one.
They'll say Bela Lugosi's
stuck.
Dead. Like maybe 600 of them will say Bela Lugosi's Dead, and 900 and my maths is bad. No, 900 is right. They would be like, what is a Bauhaus? Show me the way to the Bauhaus.
Yeah. Well, I just looked up like what is Bauhaus really famous for? Like what are the big hits? Obviously the aforementioned, but also apparently a cover of Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah, that was
one of their biggest
massive.
singles.
Boys.
Stigmata Mater. I remember that one.
Yeah, what a banger. I mean, I love Bauhaus, but like
Kick in the Eye hit. Yeah.
I'm a big like 80s goth fan. I think we've talked about it before, but like I just don't believe that those characters would be listening to that in their car.
No, in 2008, Bauhaus is old English music. Like, what? I mean, I get it. Like, kids in movies are famously driving around listening to the Smiths or fucking Joy Division, and there's a weird sort of fetishization of English working class, especially northern music from the 80s, right? It's kind of famously a fucking hipster dickbag thing in American teens in the 90s.
Like if
Bauhaus,
you think about,
it's a stretch.
Like it was weird in The Guest when the lead girl is listening to fucking Clan of Zymox, but like, at least that's obscure enough for it to be like not the most famous song by Bauhaus, like the most famous song by the most obscure band in this specific circle of like quite famous goth bands.
Sure. They're from Northampton.
Who, Bauhaus, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I don't know why. I always assumed they were a southern band, like a South Coast band. Weird.
I think I thought for a long time that they were German.
Oh, I definitely assumed they were German.
Yeah.
Yeah, all through my teens, before pre-internet, I was like, well, they must be German. They're called Bauhaus. Like, I don't even know what that means. Yeah, I just assumed that. I assumed so many bands were from the wrong place, based solely on their name.
Yeah. Like, I remember thinking that, I mean, this is different. I remember thinking that Mill and Colin were American.
Right.
And then, like,
and then you read the lyrics and you were like, nope.
yeah. I think I'd only
Yeah.
listened to, I guess, Close But No Cigar on whatever Tony Hawk that was on.
Yeah.
And then, like,
AKA No Cigar. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. This might be controversial, but I think, right, Mill and Colin are fucking shit.
That's going to be controversial to a little fella who's a friend of yours and mine called James Hull, who will tell you that they are his favourite band of all time.
Well, I thought James Hull was better than that.
Gonna not quite leap into your camp on this one, but I am gonna edge slightly away from James's camp because he's not here and he'll never listen to this. I buy in on the hype when I'm around him because it's normally when they're playing and we get to enjoy them together live, and that is really fun watching how much he fucking loves that band. But holy shit, there's some serious chaff in that catalogue, and not in a good way.
Yeah, they separated the wheat from the chaff and then just put them both on the record.
Yeah, just interspersed A and B side. Yeah, it's whoa, I don't know where I stand. I haven't listened to the full catalogue in quite some time, but I will say that Penny Bridge Pioneers got some serious spins the year it came out in my youth. Spent a lot of time with my buddy Matt Bowles on the back of the bus, just kind of obsessing over that record. But again, it's got some real fucking pump on there. Some not good songs.
The worst thing is the good songs are also like interlaced with shit. It's like a good song and a huge honking turd got in the fly machine.
A good song and a turd in the fly machine. What do you get? Mill and Colin.
You get fucking penguins and polar bears or whatever it's called, right? Which is like a banger, but like if you
but it sucks.
If you drill down into any one thing about it, it's fucking awful.
Oh, you're making great points, and I feel like in my weakened state, without James here with the other side of that argument, I'm just like, I don't know who to choose, mummy or daddy.
Yeah.
And because
Capitulate.
Daddy's here right now.
Capitulate to daddy.
I am capitulating hardcore.
Capitulate to daddy is going to be on our next run of t-shirts.
It doesn't make any sense. Those two things don't make any sense. Yeah, is it an Aphex Twin joke? No, it's Mill and Colin. Tricky to decide if they're a good band or not. Don't know. They definitely serve the purpose, and the purpose is being one of the best things to skate to on an old video game.
Yeah.
How we got to Mill and Colin from The Collector, bypassing Madeline Zima, is just unbelievable.
Well, let's get back to The Collector. So The Collector is directed and written by Marcus Dunstan.
Good old Dunst. Dunstan checks in.
He, I think it was co-written by someone else, but I don't know who. Probably a Saw guy, right?
Yep. Saw guys galore on this. You got the writing minds behind what, Saw 4, 5, and 6, I think? Patrick Melton.
They sort of came to prominence working on Feast together.
Yeah. Went on to do us the honor of writing Saw 3D.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
So I love Feast. Feast is on the list, and I don't know, have you seen it?
Great. No, but I did accidentally watch the trailer.
Okay.
Silly boy.
Well, that's a mild spoiler, I think, but that's fine.
There's a chunk of spoiler in there, but hopefully it will be a long time before we do it, and my brain will do its magic and completely forget it ever happened.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll talk about this more when we talk about Feast, but that came up on Matt Damon and Ben Affleck had a reality show that was called Project Greenlight, where people pitched them movies, and they and they financed the winning movie of this reality show. And Feast was the winner of like a season of that.
Yeah. You see my brain doing its thing of forgetting really crucial information because you said they had a reality show, which my brain knew because it knows the story you just told me about them getting that movie funded on there. But in my head, I'm like racing. What the fuck is this reality show? What are they doing? Are they out like pretending to be janitors and then revealing that they're geniuses? What the fuck is happening here? But no.
Well, that's because like most reality shows are that flavor of bullshit, right? They're undercover knobhead or
what? So, having established that, the movie got a different movie with these two guys working on it, got funded by a reality TV show. Did we ever at any point think we were going to be in for a good movie further down the line?
Well, they built a career off being on a reality show, which is a thing that like very few people
Commendable.
actually do in the thing that they're in the reality show for. A lot of people
Oh yeah,
who
absolutely.
go into a reality show become famous for being in a reality show, and then
Yeah.
parlay that fame into being in celebrity versions of different reality shows, which, as an ecosystem that needs to fucking eat itself and die, that's one of them. But
Yeah.
these guys were in a reality show. I mean, I guess maybe quite a lot of people who were in MasterChef go on to be chefs.
Yeah, I can't imagine they're winning MasterChef and then becoming an Olympic gymnast,
Yeah,
or like just
Well,
parlaying
it's
that
like
into something.
winning MasterChef and then going on Love Island isn't a thing, but like
Ooh.
winning
hard pivot could be fun.
winning Love Island and then being in Big Brother is a thing, and then
Yeah.
and then winning Big Brother and then being in fucking Celebrity Knobhead Island is a thing.
Yeah.
Like, but that's
Have you ever like been anywhere near a reality show of any kind? Have you been reality adjacent, or like
I
have you been to a taping or?
I got asked to appear on an episode of or to audition to be on an episode of First Dates, and I
What?
I declined.
Wow. I don't even know what it is, but I'm assuming it's brilliant.
So-
Is it the one where everyone's autistic?
No, that's I like Love on the Spectrum or The Undateables. If you're
Okay, so that's so offensive. I don't know why I said that.
yeah. So First Dates is the
What?
one where it's like a bunch of people and they're all on a first date and it just sort of jumps around the restaurant watching.
Oh, okay. So it's just like average everyday dates.
Yeah.
And you get to dip into all of them. Okay.
Yeah, and it's like
The only
it's,
reality show I watch is Naked Attraction, so I don't know much about.
it's like Naked Attraction,
What?
but you're wearing clothes and you see each other the whole time. And you're in a
Okay,
restaurant
cool.
and Dawn Porter's not there and I don't have an erection watching it. So
But you would have if you were in it and then watching it. So here's a question that's maybe a bit granular. Everyone's having their dates and being filmed. Is everyone being filmed continuously and then it's edited
I don't
for
know.
TV, or is or is it like you get a reprieve while the camera like goes to another table and then it comes back and you have to have to be on your date even harder?
that's a good question for someone that didn't decline.
So okay, you didn't go. That's a bummer.
So I was asked to audition. So a friend of mine was working on casting, and she was
Right.
like, "There's a girl here who would be great for you. You should come down and audition to be on, and we will pair you with this girl, and
Right.
then you will also be on the fucking show and all that." And I was like, "I mean, yeah, maybe." And then I just didn't go.
What does it pay?
It pays nothing, but you
Yeah.
get to
But
be
you
on
get
telly,
famous, you end up on
potentially
Big
making
Brother.
a fucking tit of yourself when
Yeah.
you say something offensive and a girl throws a drink in your face.
Oh, the dream. I tell you what, though, at least you were asked for the right reasons. Can you imagine if your mate had rung you up and been like, listen, mate, we got a really fucking boring crop this week. We really want to put the cat amongst the pigeons. Do you want to slam a few Negronis and get in there with one of these dames? We really think you'd liven things up a bit.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
Show's getting cancelled. Last one. I'm inviting all the weirdest guys I know. Can you imagine? I only asked because I had a buddy who was on a reality TV show when I was in my early 20s, and we went to a couple of like tapings or whatever. I don't know what the fuck you call them these days. And it was awful. It was a horrible environment. It was so weird and so strange, and everyone in the audience for some reason was so tense. Everything was such like high tension, horrible feelings. It was really bad. I offered to buy Edith Bowman a drink, and she said, "It's a free bar."
I think I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
It was mortifying. The whole thing was so painful.
Friend of the pod, Sarah from Shoot the Hostage. I vaguely remember her maybe 20 years ago, maybe slightly less than that, telling me a story about being on changing rooms.
Well, is that just like a home makeover thing?
Yeah. And
Right, okay.
sorry, Sarah, if you're listening to this, but I'm pretty sure the story is that everyone was a cunt and nobody did any of the work themselves, and they would only show up when the
Right.
cameras came on them to like paint a bit of wall, and then they would
Wow.
then they would hand the brush off to someone else to do the actual work.
Wow. Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, I mean,
Fucking hell. Even I'm not cynical enough to imagine that was happening on those shows. Holy fuck. Do you know what I want to be wrong about? I've got a really icky, deep, sick feeling about Queer Eye being... What the fuck are we talking about, by the way?
yeah. Welcome to Final Reality.
I've got this, like, I really want Queer Eye to be, like, totally wholesome and great and really good for people. I've got this, like, horrible, niggling, cynical feeling that I can't shake, that it's horrifically exploitative somehow, and that it's doing something really icky. But I can't land on it. I want to just... I can't figure it out.
I agree with you, and I think that there's a very real possibility that is what's happening behind when the cameras are off in Queer Eye. But then I also think that's negated by the fact that all the people who are on Queer Eye that are like the subjects of the queering of their eyes, like
test subjects,
like them dropping homophobic F-bombs when the cameras aren't on them anyway. So like, so
can you imagine if, like, on screen they're all nicey, and as soon as the camera's away, they're at each other constantly.
Like, I'm maybe not while they're there, but I can honestly believe that, like, some of these people are like...
Well, some of them weren't they? They had some really, like, spicy episodes where there was, like, a fucking racist guy and a homophobic guy.
Yeah.
Not good. I mean, I think the only way to figure out if Queer Eye is deeply, cynically, horribly exploitative is to go on it. So if any of our listeners want to pitch me and or Jamie for next season of Queer Eye, you have our consent.
I mean, I think I dress pretty fucking great. I already took my t-shirts in, like...
So did almost every fucking participant in Queer Eye until Kwame shows up and is like, let me tell you a thing or two about this wardrobe situation.
Kwame's not saying shit about the wardrobe. That's all tan, mate.
Kwame's the only one I know. He's the sexiest.
He's not the sexiest. Anthony is the sexiest.
Which one's that?
He's the food guy.
Yeah, he's not on it anymore, is he?
No, he is. It's the homewares guy that left. Fucking learn your Queer Eye, mate. Don't come at me with Queer Eye.
I can't watch it,
talk.
dude. I can't. I'll be the first one to admit that I don't know my quiz from my eyes. I go into
also
the
it's
living room
Karame,
when it's on.
not Kwame.
It's Carlos Ribeiro. I go into the living room when it's on, and the urge to cry is so immediate and overwhelming I have to leave. I physically can't watch it. I get about 10 minutes max in bits of every episode that Claire watches, and that's it.
I love it.
That's why I don't know who's in it.
We should just shout out Jonathan Van Ness because he's the one that we've not mentioned yet, and I wouldn't want to leave them out if they're listening.
I thought it was Jonathan Van Nuys. Sorry, everyone in Queer Eye for getting it wrong. I don't call Tan either. I call him my friend's mum because he looks exactly like my friend's mum. Anyway, moving on. Do you ever think about getting a fake tan? Like, we're both pretty pale.
I do. So we are in the weeds here, and we'll get back to the collector.
Fuck, we are smoking the roach right now. We're so in the weeds.
But sometimes, like, the top of my head, because I wear a hat so much, is much paler than, like, the face of my face. So
you could, dude, that's a fucking problem you can solve so easily. Go outside with your hat off every now and then, and you've just fixed that problem.
So there's two issues there, right? Number one is take my hat off. Number two is go outside. So,
dude, tanning the top of your head takes like 4 minutes, and you're topped up for the year. If I'm outside without my hat on for more than 4 minutes, it's red. I'm crisp. Get out there.
Shall we talk about the collector instead of reality
Only
TV?
if we absolutely have to. Okay, the collector.
So
should we have a break and do spoilers? Because fucking hell, mate.
Give me some cast details, and then we'll do that.
Cast details. You've got Josh Stewart.
Yes.
Sticking in the performance of a lifetime.
Very intense.
Mainly because he's not in much in a really substantial, significant manner, in my opinion.
He's a bit man, right? He's a bit part man.
Superb as the voice of Case in Interstellar, which is genuinely a great voice performance. Case and Tars, both superb in my book. We get Andrea Roth, famous for, I'm going to guess, a lot of American cop shows.
Let's say, yeah.
That was a horrible assumption to make if that's not the case. We get Madeline Zima,
your fave,
who I think everyone in America is going to know from, is it the fucking Babysitter or something with Hulk Hogan? Or like she's a kid star, right? She's in a bunch of crap. I know her from a show you haven't watched yet called Californication, in which she plays an underage girl who has sex with David Duchovny. So that's her. Already running on fumes here. Any other noteworthy cast members you want to fucking pump?
Fucking come on, mate. Michael Riley Burke. He's RoboCop in RoboCop 3.
Oh, of course. Everyone's favorite RoboCop 3, Michael Riley Burke.
It's unfair. Somebody has to be in RoboCop 3, right? And like,
Nope. Hard disagree. Nobody has to be in RoboCop 3.
They're making it. Let's say you're an actor, right? In the Hollywood.
Yeah, here I am.
And they ring you up and say, we're making RoboCop 3. Here's, $150,000. Do you want to do it?
Oh, there's nothing I wouldn't do for $150,000.
Exactly.
I would kick a baby into a wood chipper for $150,000 right now.
Yeah, and Hollywood would film it.
If I could get to do it in a RoboCop suit, do I get $300,000? Yeah, okay. What I would say to that is, I don't think I'm the best guy for RoboCop 3. Can I be a street punk in RoboCop 3 and get the same bread? Can I be like Leper number 4 or something? I have to be RoboCop. That's such a heavy suit and no one will give me Oreos. Fine, I'll be RoboCop.
Robo needs Oreos.
We've watched all the same films. I think Madeline Zima is the most interesting person in this cast because apparently, and again, I don't get this, but apparently this was a role that people were surprised that she took because she was quite a wholesome, all-American kid up until this point. I find it hard to believe because I've seen Californication. What came first, the musical The Misery, was 2007 Californication. It's well after she reveals her ample bosom and has underage sex with Hank Moody. So
did she do that in season 1 or season 2?
Season 1. It's in like quite possibly the first episode.
All right, fair enough. Maybe
that show goes in hot and hard. Let me tell you.
Maybe nobody watched it because my assumption is nobody watched it, and that's based on me not watching it.
What about all the Zima heads? I bet they were all over it.
Even like pre-watching, you were quite fixated on the Zima quality.
I was just surprised to see her in a movie that we were covering, to be honest.
Yeah.
Surprised and interested in what was going to transpire. And let me tell you, what transpired was exactly what I thought would transpire.
Yeah, not surprising or interesting.
No, not. I mean, a fine performance, I think. If we're getting that far ahead of ourselves, I don't think she does a bad job at all.
No.
I actually really find her spunky, kind of in your face but coy thing that she does in virtually everything quite endearing. And in Californication, she has quite a complex character that I really enjoy seeing play out over the course of the seasons. I think that's a show that has, in parts, excellent writing, and in other parts, fucking trash. Like a real fucking drill down Penny Bridge Pioneers situation going on with her career, and that fucking show. So yeah, I was just curious to see what she did in this, and maybe a bit of a letdown.
So I can't edit out 20 minutes of conversation about fucking Millencolin now because you said that.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to think I don't like Millencolin. We need the context.
All right, let's
also you can.
Let's take the break that we promised 4 hours ago and come back and get into some spoilers because it's quite difficult to talk about The Collector without getting into the specifics of it.
Yeah.
Whoa, holy shit. I guess that's why they call it Phantom Power.
I'm back. Are you back?
Yeah, let's say yeah.
I didn't want to give you any room to get another Negroni.
Don't worry, I've got my liquid death now. It's all good.
Great. That works. So this movie is a movie that happens, as far as I'm concerned. Do you like this film?
So I had a memory of liking this film.
Yeah.
And the big issue is that I don't dislike it.
So you won't express any kind of revulsion?
No.
But you're not going to bang the drum for it?
It's a real Harvey Danger situation. I'm absolutely a fucking flagpole sitter. I'm right in the fence on this one.
Harvey Dangerfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a point when I was watching it yesterday in prep for this where I was like, this is so fucking slow. I bet there's 45 minutes left. And there was 3 minutes left.
What a weird situation.
So like,
shit's fucked.
I was like, oh, it feels so slow, but I guess it doesn't because it's just the problem is the tone. Once you're into the trap stuff, the body of the movie, it just sort of keeps happening until the movie ends.
Exactly like Home Alone.
Yeah, but Home Alone.
The pacing is like the start of Home Alone doesn't feel quick. Like I'm talking from a perspective of someone who has lost all frame of reference for what it feels like to watch Home Alone, because I watched it for the first time fucking who knows 30 years ago, and I've watched it every year since. So, but the pace is like when you get to Trapsville, you have this really interesting cinematic pace that feels both incredibly exciting and very quick fire, but also dull and strangely repetitive. So there's such a weird cadence to trap movies that I think you just have to kind of go with the flow a little bit. The build-up in this movie, at least, is fucking perfunctory at best. And then the traps are so brutal that you're kind of gritting your teeth through them.
Yeah.
And that creates a really interesting experience for the viewer. Not a pleasant one, in my opinion, but one that is at least not completely boring.
Yeah, so in defense of Home Alone, which is not a thing that I'm going to say...
Something we say a lot.
not something that I say a lot.
But when you do, you really mean it.
Yeah, like when we're in the traps section of that, the wet bandits trying to gain access to the house, and you know Kevin's up to his fun tricks. Like that is punctuated with moments of not that happening.
Yeah.
And
some excellent comedy, some great interactions between all of the characters involved, and some crucially superb music.
Yeah.
Some great stings, some excellent, work on the whole ambiance of the entire sequence. That doesn't happen in this.
No. The issue here is that, I mean, it's already shot in like fucking night vision or whatever. So like, everything's that weird 2009 shade of green.
Yeah.
It's super dark, so you can't really see anything. But then also, you can kind of see everything. And there's no reason why Arkin, when he breaks into the house to steal a jewel or whatever for some reason, like why he can't see all these traps that are very clearly there. You were at this house 2 hours ago. Why have you not noticed that all the windows are now boarded up?
Plus, you're a handyman. It's not like you're just chucking your eyes around and walking out. Like, you're actually opening shit and looking inside things and under things. Like, he's done I didn't get that at all. And I don't want to fucking pick it apart.
I do.
Based on that kind of semantics.
I mean, I do.
Well, I guess,
I do.
Well, then, how do you explain the fucking bear trap room?
My big question about the existence of this movie, who are the traps for?
Yeah, that's the biggest question. Are they for the family? Because the family are trapped.
Are they just for the little girl because she's in the house and she's the only one that he's not caught? Or obviously Madeline Zima's character is out at this point.
He's pitched as being a serial killer, right?
Yeah.
Does this all the time?
Does this all the time?
Is he just
always keeps one? Except,
yeah.
I mean, I collect things. I collect comics. I collect books. I collect, loads of shit that makes you angry.
Yes,
and
correct.
As a collector, every time I buy a new comic, I don't burn the previous comic that I bought.
You fucking should, mate. You absolutely should. There should be a system where you have one shelf with all your comics on it. When you put one on, another one falls into a bin. That's exactly the system you need. And there should be 5 comics on that shelf at all times.
Well, I'm sorry, but there are 4,000 comics in a fucking...
Makes me wretch. Even I have more than 5 comics, in fairness. That was an unrealistic expectation.
But
yeah, a strange collector. And again, I like the murky mind of the serial killer human collector house trapper man. I really like him as a creation in this filmic universe, and I think it's cool that not everything is explained. It adds an edge of truly unpredictable psychotic behavior that I really enjoy. But there is also the fucking bare bones expectation that the audience understands a modicum of his motivation at some point. Like, I was thinking the whole way through, I kept pausing this movie and going back over bits and being like, did I miss why he hates this family? Is the dad a lawyer who... Is there some story here? No, it doesn't go that deep. That's fine.
No. Well, the dad is a jewel man. So.
Yeah. But I just kept, forgetting and having to relearn crucial information about all the characters in case I was missing this overarching family connection conspiracy that I wasn't.
So I suspect that this is the issue of it being a Saw movie, that they've then taken the Saw element out. Well, in a Saw movie, John Kramer is doing stuff because he's trying to get people who have specifically wronged him in some way to see the error of their ways or die trying. And
exactly, yeah.
But when you remove that, you've just got a guy upside down in a cellar covered in blood, a woman in a bath
Yeah.
with tape over her eyes that's been stapled there, and she's like, take the tape off my eyes. Like, she doesn't remember getting fucking stapled in her fucking forehead. What are you talking about?
Yeah, there's so many what are you talking about moments in this movie that I didn't even bother listing them after a certain point. You're totally right. Yeah, and I think the Saw movie where everyone has to fight their way out of a trap house, Home Alone style, is exactly what that franchise needed. Like, I would have paid cold, hard cash to go see that in the cinema, even if it was 3D. So this slightly jank version of it leaves something to be desired for sure. Yeah, it doesn't start on the best foot. At least we get through the bullshit scene setting quickly. You know, we find out who he is, what he's doing, and why. Scratch our heads a little bit. Yeah. No, we don't know fuck all about the titular collector, the tit collector, if you will. But we do, we do get enough about Arkin to understand at least why he exists in the film, and that's nice. Always nice.
I'll tell you what we don't.
And I actually, again,
what doesn't pay off. It's the fucking spiders.
Nope. Yep. Just realised that as you said it. That doesn't pay off even remotely.
Like I had seen the movie before, but I guess I'd forgotten the end. But I spent the whole movie being like, does he get out of this just to get bitten by a spider and then die? Like, because why else are the spiders here?
So forgettable, so painfully forgettable, so much of this movie. But I tell you what, I do think, despite the odds, I really think Josh Stewart sticks a shift in here.
Yeah.
I find him great to look at, great face, some really tight confines within which to deliver any kind of fucking performance in this film. And I think he finds a way. I'm really impressed with what he does with so fucking little in this film.
So I have a worry that this maybe isn't his fault, but every scene that he has with a young girl, because his character is forced to be so intense at all times, there's this weird, intense sexual energy that he has in every scene that he has with a little girl. Like, he has those two scenes at the beginning, one with his own daughter and one with the daughter of the family, and it's like, Jesus Christ. And then the dad walks in when he's like batting a spider off this little girl's hand or whatever, and is like, "Oh God, you're a creepy pedophile man. Stay away from my daughter." But is then like, "Have some extra money for your own daughter." It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, Sam. It's just
no.
I feel like it was written by fucking Guy Pearce's character in Memento, like.
That's a great shout. You know how like some people just can't help their face? I think he is, and again, it's a quality I find endearing. I think he's leery and greasy, and has those like tight. Part of his face is quite tight and pinched and close together, but still quite handsome. But the problem is, you put that around little girls, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
like there's a gear there that jumps. It goes from fucking third to fifth, and we're immediately uncomfortable.
Like him trying to be like paternal, just like it comes out as like creepy.
Yeah, there's certain actors who aren't good dads in films. Like Steve Buscemi as a dad doesn't really fly. That's why you never see him as a dad.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's like I see a bit of Sean Penn in this guy, and it's all the stuff that I like. But when you remove all the Sean Penn charisma and you remove all the Sean Penn gravitas and the depth of his voice and like the power that he brings to every fucking scene, you are left with kind of like a fucking Dollar General perv Sean Penn.
Yeah.
And that's fine for this movie. Absolutely fine. And I'm saying it from a place of pure love. I would quite like to watch this guy in a lot of other movies, having seen him in this, because I think he's probably got a bit of a Sam Rockwell gear that I just haven't seen, you know?
Yeah, I could picture him in like a low budget sort of Southern Gothic movie set in a diner type situation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I have no idea if that exists, but I can picture it. He's like he's just robbed a bank. Fucking Last Stop Yuma County, if that had him in it, that would be great.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you could tell me he is in that, and I'd be like, oh yeah, because he's interchangeable with any of those characters.
Yeah. Another question about Arkin that I have, right?
Yeah.
Is safe cracking really fucking easy? Is he just the only guy with this machine, which means that he has to listen and watch the waveforms? Like, because safe cracking looks fucking easy to me based on this.
Yeah. It's one of two things, right? It's either impossible or it's fucking easy, and Hollywood has not helped us figure out which.
Nobody in this movie knows, because they're like, he's like, I'm the only guy you've got. I'm the guy that owns this little bit of kit, so you've got to pay me 50% or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it could easily be. Here's a question for you. His name is Arkin,
Yes.
and the dudes who wrote this movie wrote Saw.
Yeah.
Is it an Arkansas thing? What's happening here?
That is a great shout that I'd not considered at all.
I don't know if Patrick Melton or Marcus Dunstan are from Arkansas, but if they are, we just unriddled the universe. Nope. Champaign, Illinois for Patrick Melton. Let's put it all on Dunstan. And our studio audience says, make 'em Illinois. You're shit out of luck.
Yeah, fair.
Wow, he's from Champaign, Illinois. That's sick. I've been there. It's great.
Is it?
Yeah, it's fucking quite... It's the caliber of dive bar in Champaign, Illinois. It's like, if you're not a perfect dive bar, you're not allowed in.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
I went to shit in Illinois and I couldn't tell the difference.
Between shit and champagne.
Yeah.
Good work, Jamie.
Thanks,
Great
mate.
work. Oh, I wish we could end it there. That would be just the best point to just go to bed.
I didn't go to shit in Illinois. I don't think that's a real place.
Have you ever taken a shit in Illinois?
No.
Oh, you never been to Illinois?
Never been to Illinois.
You just held your fucking ass cheeks shut the whole time you were there.
Yeah, I just clamped. So
Okay.
the concept,
What else you got? Because I'm done.
I've got pages, don't worry.
Oh, good grief.
The concept of this movie, I think, the idea of like a criminal walking into a place where a slasher horror movie is happening, unwitting their way into it is cool to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a mixed media bank heist conceit, you know, like
Yeah.
the guy goes in to rob the bank and there's something else happening in the bank. Yeah, I like it. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. Has there ever been a movie where a guy has gone to rob a bank or a crew have gone to rob a bank and there are 5 other crews that are also trying to rob the bank at the same time and they all have to battle to the death to see who gets the big
Ocean's
take?
50.
That sounds fucking
Yeah,
great.
that does sound good.
I kind of think this isn't in the text of the movie, but I kind of think that Arkin is the victim the whole time. Like he's the
Target.
the target the whole time.
That was my assumption that wasn't answered in a way that was clear. But yeah, that was like the family is the foil,
Yeah.
the MacGuffin, the red herring, and he's the target all along. I did think that, but it wasn't drawn together coherently enough for me to really go all in on that.
It's the only way the traps make sense, right?
Well, yeah, because they're like built for him, you know.
Yeah. And like he falls into every single one of them.
Yeah, true.
Let's talk about the most gratuitous cat death you will ever see in a movie.
Yeah.
It's so
Rough.
unnecessary.
Rough as toast. And so early in the movie as well.
Yeah.
Nah. Just nah. Don't do that.
Just like he rescues this cat from, the glue floor that's also somehow acid and, helps the cat out the window only
Yeah.
for the window to close and also be a guillotine. Like,
Yes.
completely unnecessary.
Pretty tone deaf as well. Like, I don't understand who's loving that or the reaction from whomst is the exact right pitch of, oh, poor cat, I really want to watch the rest of the movie. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't feel...
Well, I mean, we've talked about this before, but there was in screenwriting in like the late 90s to the early mid 2000s, there was this, the very popular book was Save the Cat. And it was all about how, like, if you put a cat or like, it was about screenwriting tropes. And like, one of them was if you put a cat in danger, you don't let the cat die.
Yeah.
And that's how you bring an audience with you, is that you do that. And so I guess they're trying to subvert that here.
Yeah.
But, fuck off. Don't. Save the Cat
Just do
works
it
because it
better.
works. Do you know what I mean? Like it.
Yeah, you don't need a graphic, gory cat death to achieve that.
Especially
to
like
subvert
when
that.
we've already had like this quite horrible scene of a cat in massive pain glued to an acid floor.
Yeah, it doesn't endear me to anything in the film. Like, it makes me kind of think less of the directors and writers when I see that, because it's low.
The way you get around it is the cat goes to get out of the window, the guillotine window comes down, cuts the cat's tail off.
Or just the tip.
Yeah.
I know I say that a lot, but just the tip.
Exactly.
Maybe it's a Bill Murray Scrooged scenario where, in Scrooge they make him put mice in everything so that cats watch the TV. Maybe they're just trying to get that dog viewer in.
Yeah.
Trying to ramp up the dog audience.
Yeah, or like birds. The birds are like, I want to see the cats die. All these fucking cockatiels at home are like...
That's fucking bang on, bud. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Just released in spring, just trying to get those fucking birds watching. It's probably not that, is it, really?
Probably not that.
It's probably just boring guys killing cats in films.
Yeah.
Because they can.
So A weird thing in the Collector is that it doesn't care about people dying. It only cares about the traps. Like a big chunk of the killing just happens off screen.
That's true. Yeah. It's trap centric.
Yeah. So like we see the start of the scene where he's about to kill the dad, RoboCop 3, and it's his name. And then it cuts away and it just cuts back later and he's just like dead, hanging upside down. And they don't did they cut it because it was too gory, or are they just not asked about it, or was it?
I mean, I guess I was asking that question when I watched it, but I wasn't drawing them all together. And you're right, there are chunks of time where it's like, haha, trap, and then who cares what happens after that, you know?
Yeah, 2 people die in traps, which is your mate Zima and her boyfriend, who I've named Dewey Loomis in my notes because he looks exactly like if David Arquette was Billy Loomis. And
fucking hell, Dewey Loomis. And he gets more than both of those guys. But yeah, carry on.
But and like they're the only 2 that die in traps.
Yeah. Do you rate those deaths? I quite like the spike wall face effect.
I mean, I like it. I feel like hiding a wall of fucking spikes behind the projector screen is weird. But okay, like it's just like a level of forward thinking that seems. This guy's only had a couple of hours since Arkin left.
Such an enormous amount of work goes into those couple of hours to silently rig this house into the fucking ghost ship death trap.
Like, it's bonkers. I made a list of all the traps, right?
Okay.
So I just want to go through them and talk about each one and maybe a little bit, right? So there's the razor wire, which is, I guess, wire that is so sharp that if you touch it, your skin just flays open instantly.
Listen, yes, this movie goes a bit far with the razor wire effect, but fucking hell, razor wire is like that. Like, it does fuck you up so bad.
Yeah, okay, like, fine. But, like, if you just sort of touch it, your skin doesn't, like, strip off your entire body like you're Jonathan in that episode of Buffy. Spoiler alert for season 6 of Buffy.
Should we'll, with each trap, we'll do the Jamie, and we'll either give it a pass or not give or cancel it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you giving the razor wire a pass or are you cancelling it?
Giving it a pass.
Okay. So the floor glue that also is acid, pass or cancel. Conceptually, I think it's quite cool.
Yeah, very cool.
The usage
I'll
of
give it a
it-
pass because it gives us a vehicle to possibly get a melt.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't really, but we kind of do, I guess.
Yeah, the idea of like somebody running away on that, slipping over and falling onto it face first. Like, if that was a person and not a cat, I'd be having so much more fun.
Oh, I'd be fucking laughing my actual ball sack off.
Yeah. So the next one is an immediate cancellation, and it's the knife chandelier.
Very Scooby-Doo.
It's more like stupid poo.
Yeah, okay, get in the bin. Yeah. Also, it doesn't really work. Just a bit rubbish.
Like, I mean, I'll go back to my list of traps, but also this movie, The Collector, everybody is immune to pain, right? Like, the first thing that happens to Arkin is that his fingers get cut off by razor blades, and he's like fine for the rest of the movie. The knife chandelier falls on the Collector, and he's like,
he just cracks on.
yeah, he's just wandering around in the next scene. Like, you must have multiple stab wounds from a chandelier made of knives falling on you, on your
Unless
head.
you made it so badly. I mean, I tell you what, if a fucking trapsmith broke into my house and rigged up a knife chandelier, I think one of them would hurt me. The rest of them are so blunt.
Well, you're assuming that he's using your knives and not bringing his own fucking Japanese.
Hibachi.
Yeah.
Fucking. I mean, I hope he's using my knives.
If he brought your knives, I mean, if he brought his own knives and you managed to overpower him, you get the knives.
Free knives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a whole new set of knives to run down.
It's not all bad news, is it?
No, exactly. And you get to kill an assailant. All right. Next on the list is the spikes on the stairs. Nothing happens with those.
Pass, I guess.
Like,
they have to be there.
Yeah. They're there so you know that no one can just run up and down the stairs willy-nilly.
You got to spike those stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep them in, baby.
So the trick scissors, that if you pick them up, it flings you into a wall of spikes.
Don't understand.
I mean, I love that. It's so fucking stupid, but I mean, I love it.
It's written by a fucking 10-year-old, isn't it? It's what if? Yeah, sure, give it a pass, bro. I mean, it's you know, it's funny.
It gets a pass because it results in an interesting visual for a minute.
Yeah.
What doesn't get a pass that is very similar is the trick golf club, that if you pick up the wrong golf club, it sets off a series of events that cause you to be dragged into the basement via a wire that's attached to your foot.
How dare you? Of course that gets a pass.
It does not get a pass.
Know your golf clubs, bud. Know which club you're meant to grab
It's like,
and grab it.
Not only do you have to know that this guy's going to pick up a golf club, like he's going to see Arkin and be like, "You're the bastard that's doing this. I'm going to get a golf club," and then pick up the wrong golf club and then set off this fucking stupid course of events. It's gibberish.
It's do you know what it is? It's Donald Trump's training program for caddies. That's 100% what that's from.
Fucking Kevin McAllister would never set a trap that wasn't immediately going to pay off.
Yeah, McAllister's approach to trap setting is pure Occam's razor. This approach to trap setting is pure drunk 10-year-old.
Yeah, a floor full of bear traps. I mean, I can't fault that. That's fine.
Oh yeah, I was all in on that 100%. Yep. Keep.
The last trap that I've written down, which I mean, I wrote it last because I barely even want to call it a trap.
Yeah,
it's just a load of fucking fish hooks hanging up in a bathroom. Like, what is that?
We call that one catch of the day.
Throw
fish
it
hooks
back.
are horrible.
Throw it back. It's shit.
Barbed fish hooks, a lot of potential. It's not really played out. Yeah,
it's a thing that if it happened to me would suck. But like, I'm a serial killer that's setting traps to kill people, and one of those traps is a mildly annoying thing in a bathroom.
Something to pick out of your skin in a hurry.
Yeah.
What do you think? You know when Arkin's got his hand in the letterbox and it's got the backwards razors and how do you think you would fare in that situation? It's always my first thought in like an endurance or challenge trap is like, what am I doing? Am I skinning my entire hand in one big yank to get out of this? What the fuck? How would you fare?
I just give up and die. Just give up and just sit there for...
Hang there until you die?
Yeah, I think so.
God, it would be so unbearably painful to just flay your entire hand.
Yeah.
Just deglove your hand with razors.
Also, he still steals the jewel, despite the fact that his blood and DNA is literally everywhere.
He's not thinking very far ahead in terms of a clean escape, is he?
No, and at the end, he's like, "Oh, I did it. I got out before midnight." Yeah, but you're going to the hospital. You're not going to the fucking guy who you owe money to's house.
No, and you're still going to get collected. You know you are.
Yeah.
It's on the cards.
It is. Like, that's a cool shot. I mean, it's not a new shot or a particularly inventive shot, but I love it's always an ambulance, but I love like a toppling ambulance where the camera is fixed and everybody is flying around.
It's the only bit of the movie I like. That is the one shot and the one scene that made me go, "Ooh, good." The rest of the time I was sleep wanking through this movie. That's really it is not just like a cool shot broadly, like you say. That's a really good version of it. Like it's really well done.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it. It was really, really fun, well executed shot. And I think I read part of quite significant reshoots as well. It originally wasn't going to be part of it, so I don't know how much the ending changed. But yeah, a wildly cool shot there. Doesn't look completely gross. You get breaks in the gross greener vision that, you know, there's parts where it's blue. They do mix it up.
It's true. You're not wrong.
Yeah,
You're not wrong.
I did enjoy that. So having gone through all those traps, how do you feel?
I think that the traps are weak. And they just, again, they don't serve any purpose.
No.
The effective stuff that happens is him stabbing the woman when she gets to the top of the stairs. That's quite an effective kill.
Trap.
Not like stabbing someone when they run up some stairs is not a trap. And that is, but it's brutal and it feels like, do you know like when Michael Myers stabs someone and it's so like methodical and like he's just sort of going through the motions?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like I really want to fucking kill you, like fucking die. It's like Jason intensity coming out of Michael Myers.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The mask helps that, I think. It's not a good mask.
No, it's
not a great mask, but it's a mask.
Yeah. I think the best work that the collector does is knife work. That killing...
Yeah.
And then when he throws the throwing knife through the fucking Dewey Loomis's hands.
That's fun.
That is great, and it's one of those pains that like you feel it when you see it happen.
Yeah, definitely. Well shot, well executed.
Yeah.
I think they would have done well to call this movie The Midnight Knife Boy, and
The Midknife Boy.
to use the Midknife Boy, the midwife,
Call
and to
the
use
midknife.
the one variation of the cover that I've seen online where the cover is a red version of the mask, almost like a gradient map, if you will, in red of the mask, because it looks terrifying. It looks, it's a really great version of it. And instead, they obviously go the complete opposite direction with all the cover up. But
Yeah.
yikes! Some fucking weird decisions in a trap-based home invasion, safe-cracking, Saw-style escape torture movie.
How do you feel?
Have better traps.
How do you feel about the stomach wound, cockroach jar, fire combination?
It's just a quick too quick, too ham-fisted. That's one that you build up, I think. It's
Yeah.
not one that you just not out in desperation. It's a proper medieval torture method that deserves a little bit more screen time, a bit more prep, a bit more ominous vibes.
Yeah.
It's not like a quick chop to the throat like it's portrayed in this movie. You got to fucking earn that shit.
Yeah, they should have
And
done
I
that.
like it.
They should have done that with RoboCop 3. Like, he should have been the recipient of the cockroach wound situation.
Or like the hot rats up the butthole, like all that stuff needs to be
Yeah.
quicker. Slower. It's way too quick in this. It's not. It feels like an improvised kill or torture attempt, when in reality that's a long, drawn out, premeditated fuckfest.
Nothing's improvised. Oh, it's my jar of cockroaches. I forgot I had
Quick.
this.
I've got a lighter. Might as well get these boys good and hot to burrow through your fucking stomach.
Yeah.
Nah, dumb. Badly done.
The dog gets a pretty rough shrift, but the dog's a dickhead and deserves to die. So,
Rough night for the dog. Didn't like any of that.
I mean,
Didn't think the dog was a dickhead.
the dog, it definitely attacks and kills ostensibly what would be a hero of the movie. It is a cop, so, fair dues dog, but,
Look at you defending a dog that killed a cop.
I'm not. I'm defending the cop that was killed by a dog.
That's what I meant. I'm just going to clip you saying I'm defending a cop and replay that forever. Did you fucking care at all about anyone being saved in this movie? Like, when I saw a cop, I wasn't like, ooh, maybe he's going to save them. I just wanted them all to die in that house and for it to be over.
Yeah, I kind of also wanted that. Because
what do you want in a trap movie? You want to see all the traps get trapped off.
Yeah,
right?
And you want, because of the 2009, that there's some sort of twist and it's going to end up that you don't get away. So, like, why?
It was his father. Yeah.
Why pretend?
Could just skip that, yeah. At least in Home Alone, when the cop shows up, you want Kevin to be safe. Like,
Yeah.
Because you don't know it's trap time. Have the cop show up before we want all the traps to go off. Like, yeah, don't get that. Strange movie.
Yeah, have the cop run into the bathroom and fish hook his own eyes out or something.
Sure. Just seems so weird to make such a trap-heavy movie with no real understanding of what an audience wants in terms of trap movies.
Yeah,
Like,
so only one person dies by the trap, and that's Madeline Zima. She picks up the scissors and gets flung into the wall.
yeah. Is there an argument that the whole movie is a trap?
Like,
and therefore...
If there is, I'm not listening to it.
I'm not making it, don't worry.
Like, obviously, Dewey Loomis falls onto the floor and is eaten by all of the bear traps. But like, he doesn't fall into that trap. He's forced into that trap by the killer knifing him
up. Yeah, and bear traps are just traps. It's not. The room full of bear traps isn't really a trap, is it? Because it's just a room full of traps that already exist.
Yeah, if it was me, I would just put a landmine under the doormat and go home.
Yeah, just claymore the fucking threshold. Jobs are good.
Exactly.
But that's what endears me a little bit and gives me a little bit of intrigue when it comes to the collector himself, because he obviously wants to collect someone via the medium of traps, which I think is quite fun. He doesn't just want to claymore the doorstep, But I'm kind of more interested in that guy, to be honest,
Yeah.
in many ways. But because we don't get any insight into why or really how,
Yeah.
it becomes uninteresting to me, which is a shame.
Again, it's because they removed all the Saw stuff out of it, and like the Saw stuff would have given us because we've already established who John Kramer is and we know who he's going to become. Like him, even the trap's not really working. Like that's more interesting because it's like it's a prequel, so it's a young John Kramer who's not really honed his jigsawness yet, and we know that he's got some fucking hard on for Jewel Man. RoboCop 3, and I don't know, maybe he stole his wife's fucking engagement ring or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
And so
you just made a more compelling plot for this movie in one throwaway sentence than the movie does, and I bet they spent years writing.
Well, they probably just took all that stuff out when they removed the Saw.
True. Yeah.
Because like when you don't have like I say, like a lot of that is predicated on us already knowing who John Kramer is and knowing what John Kramer's about. So like you can sort of toss it off in one sentence because there's been 480 other Saw movies that have all built that story up for you.
Yeah.
Whereas, with this, it doesn't give you anything. There's no insight into besides this awful thing of being like, oh hey, the collector is the exterminator from the beginning. Like, okay.
Yeah.
So who cares?
So, because it's poorly done. Like, that could be a cool reveal, I think, but it's not at all. I like that, but it was done badly. I think, do you know what's interesting? John Kramer, to me, is endlessly entertaining and very, very interesting, despite being in lots of bad films, despite having enormous holes in his character story, despite having, like, fucking miles of barren, boring shit in the middle where he interacts with characters that go nowhere, forms relationships that mean nothing, and that bore you to tears. I still find him such a compelling villain, and I don't really know why. I've seen every Saw movie, and I'd go as far as say there is one good one, the first. Like, the rest of them have some good bits, and some good characters, and some good traps, and some good moments, but in terms of like an end-to-end banger, I only honestly really like Saw 1. Saw.
I think, I mean, I agree, but I quite like the massively in the weeds
The fucking
detective stuff from like 3 to 6. Like, I think that's really fun and like not good, but like
exactly.
But it speaks to me in a sort of insect brain level.
Yeah, it becomes trash that feels like made for TV movies for a while there, and you get some cast members popping up where you're like, you are TV. This is not a film.
Nobody's casting Costas Mandylor in their fucking Marvel movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Isn't Danny Glover in some of these Saw movies?
Saw 2, I think.
Yeah.
And maybe comes back in other ones because they all happen in the same fucking 8 seconds or whatever.
Right. And that gets me excited. When I see Danny Glover is going to be in a Saw movie, there's still something about that gets me, gets me curious, makes me want to buy the fucking ticket and go see it in the cinema.
Yeah.
Despite knowing what I know about how bad these films are and how oftentimes, like, really uncomfortable to watch they are. But there's none of the charm in this movie that hooks me in, because there is no John Kramer, there is no mystery. I mean, there is, but it's never solved, so it doesn't win you over for a franchise.
Yeah.
And that leads me to my next point. Have you seen the collection, the sequel to this?
I have, yeah.
What do you think?
Like,
the cast looks great.
Yeah, I think maybe the memory that I have of watching The Collector is actually me watching The Collection.
Okay, could be.
And that doing more interesting things with the lore of this movie, like building on it. I think, like, potentially it's the opposite of Saw, which is that, like, Saw 2 through 10 and also Spiral take the nugget of the thing that's good in the first one and stretch it over a million movies in a way that, like, you can stretch it because the nugget at the center of it is this guy is pissed off enough at the people in the world that are shitty, that he just wants to make them see the error of their ways in a really horrible way. Get better or die trying. Like, be not a dick or die trying. I think, like, at its core, that is a cool idea that you could exploit forever. Whereas, like, I'm a guy and I've got some traps and I'm in your house and I like spiders and I put a guy in a box, and if he gets out of the box, I'll kill him, even though I'm the collector. I don't really collect stuff. It's me burning my comic every time I get a new one. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, it doesn't make it.
It's not well thought out enough, is it?
I would
pretty
say
simple.
that I stand by the fact that this is written by Guy Pearce's character in Memento. Like, nothing is thought out. Tell you what's weird.
Go on.
The collector/cop fake out where Arkin is lying in the road. Also, you don't have to jump in front of a police car. You could just be by the side of the road covered in
wave.
blood. It's fine.
Yeah, just like wave. Yeah.
I think.
Oh wait, yeah, because doesn't he get hit by the police car?
Yeah. So like,
Yeah. That's
I
dumb.
think that generally Arkin, for a guy in a horror movie, makes for the most part pretty good decisions.
Especially considering what we know about him, his motivation,
Yeah.
his world. Yeah. He doesn't fuck up too hard. Fairly relatable.
Yeah, and there are moments when like another character in a different horror movie, let's say something happens with the collector in the basement and he gets caught in his own trap or something. I can't quite remember what happens. And like another guy in another horror movie would go down there and try and hit him with a brick or something, and would just
Or just like,
end up.
talk to him and get talked into being dead.
Yeah. And Arky doesn't do that. He just uses that as like a let's fucking go, let's get out of here. And then
Yeah. He's trapped. I'm out. See ya.
and like obviously he goes back for the little girl because he's got a daughter of his own, and we've established that he's, you know, not a creepy pedophile but a loving father.
Exactly.
So he makes, for the most part, pretty good decisions.
Even in a cinematic sense, he makes decisions that push the narrative.
Yeah. But jumping in front of
Oh.
a police car isn't one of them.
I've just escaped. I think what I'll do is put my big grape of a head directly under the front wheel of this fucking car and let it run me over. Yeah, but that's the point where the movie has got so gratuitous that I just don't care what's happening. Oh, of course he got hit by the police car. Oh, of course the ambulance flipped. Oh, of course. Like, you just...
Yeah.
Your expectations
The thing is,
are in
like,
the fucking
if he
gutter by
doesn't
that
jump in
point.
front of the police car, he doesn't end up in the ambulance because, like,
Yeah.
based on
yeah.
everything that's happened, all of his wounds must be fairly superficial because he's, you know, wandering around using his hands, like extruding the cockroaches that live inside his stomach now or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
he's fine. Like, all of those things could have just been dealt with later, but he has to get hit by the police car in order to get into the ambulance, and that's stupid and boring.
Unless there's, 5 backup traps for every trap, and he would have fallen into one of those traps to end up in the ambulance anyway.
Yeah, and like I guess one of those backup traps is the fucking hooks in the bathroom because the guys run out of ideas. Like, I need to put something in the
shit.
bathroom. I guess fucking what have I got on me? I got some fish hooks and some wire and
Just runs out to the garage looking for like one last trap, finds
Yeah.
the tackle box, and is like, I guess this is it.
yeah, like it's my fucking mother-in-law's birthday. I better fucking run to the garage and get a present. Oh shit, they've only got cheap flowers and fucking firelighters. Happy Mother's Day or whatever.
I've only got fish hooks and 12-inch nails. What am I going to do? Yeah.
But yeah, the collector cop fake out when he's like lying in the road and he sees the collector coming to grab the little girl, and then it cuts to different lighting and it's the cop. It's fucking dumb. Like,
It's lame.
there's no precedent for that in the movie of like seeing things that aren't there. It's fucking,
No.
it sucks.
It's weak. It's not done in a way that makes you think like, ooh, concussion vision or whatever, or just like hyper stressed or whatever. It's just a poorly executed effect.
Yeah. And that's the end of my notes, Sam.
Good notes, Jamie.
Despite all of this, I don't hate the movie. I think
No.
like I sort of enjoy some bits of it.
Yep.
Let's just take a break and come back and finish off and then get the fuck out of it.
Good idea.
Come on, man. Does that thing even work? No. There's nothing out there. It's just dead air.
Okay, Sam, I'm back. Are you back?
I'm back, buddy.
Cool. So before we sum up, I just want to say a big Chicago bratwurst thank you to, I don't know what that means, to our sponsor for this episode and for every episode thus far, and hopefully forever, Red Scare Industries, a record label based in Chicago, full of bratwursts. And is a bratwurst a Chicago thing? Have I just talked?
Wieners. Chock full of wieners.
Wieners and woofs.
The a Vienna beef wiener is a quintessentially Chicagoan ingredient in a hot dog, in a Chicago dog.
Okay.
Yep. Red Scare Industries, full of dill pickle spears and Vienna beef wieners.
Sounds,
Get yours now at redscare.net.
while you're there getting a wiener, look at some tour dates. It's the summer. Everyone's on tour.
Everyone's out there doing the thing.
Yeah.
Buy a record. 7 albums coming out on Red Scare in 2025.
Including a Sam Russo record, right?
Yeah, what month is it?
It's June now.
Including a Sam Russo record, which may or may not have been announced.
Did we just announce it? We scooped? We fucking
Yeah, I mean, it's
scooped
been
Brooklyn
announced, but-
Vegan. Fucking finally.
Maybe not the title. I don't know. Yeah, I got a new album coming out in the summer.
I'm aware.
In mere months, in mere weeks
Yeah.
at the time of airing. Yeah. So pre-order it. Get on it. It's going to be great. Have fun.
All right, Sam, let's talk about summing up.
Yeah.
There's a world in which this is a good movie.
Yep.
It's just not this world.
not
Hector
this
2
world,
is watching a great movie.
In an infinite loop,
Oh, God.
apparently.
Can you imagine just watching this movie on an infinite loop?
I felt like I did. I only watched it fucking once.
It's weird because it feels really slow and then it ends and you're like, oh, it actually wasn't that slow.
Oh, that was fast. Yeah.
It's just, do you know, like when you're having a really horrible week at work and you feel like the week is really dragging, and then the following Monday, when you're having a really shit Monday, you think last week flew by. Why is Monday so long? Like
Yeah.
that's
And then you realize it's been Sunday the whole time.
yeah. That's my experience of watching this movie. Is like, oh, this feels like a slog. Oh, it actually was relatively speedy.
Oh, it was easy. I just sat there and it happened in front of
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
There are some good ideas that I think, like we've mentioned, have been basically neutered by the fact that it's not a Saw movie. That they had to
Yeah.
probably remove all of the stuff that makes it interesting out of it.
Yeah.
And in order for it to be legally distinct from Saw, didn't bother putting any new stuff in there. They were like, it's fine.
Yeah. You can't have like fucking power drill instead of jigsaw. You can't you just have to be different.
Like, sure, but like John Kramer doesn't own trap-based revenge.
True.
So like, and if you're gonna make a movie that's
Lionsgate does.
if you're gonna make a movie that's so derivative of Saw,
Yeah.
that used to be a Saw movie and now it's not a Saw movie, like
Yeah.
you can still do that. You can still have that bit.
If you're going to do this, which is exactly what you just described, you might as well just fucking do that. Like, no one's watching this and going, what a wholly original and
Yeah.
wonderful fresh breath of fresh air that was. Just nick everything. Just throw it all in.
Yeah, you're only nicking from yourself. You wrote the fucking a bunch of
wrote
the
the
Saw movies anyway.
movies.
Like,
Yeah. Super weird.
are they like, oh, maybe we should change it so we don't look like fucking one-trick punanis? Like,
Yes, I think that's exactly the table conversation that went down, including the phrase one-trick punanis. I think that's exactly what they said.
I don't know.
We could speculate endlessly on the lack of motivation from the screenwriters. I think it is what it is.
They're either lazy or they're rubbish, and I choose to believe that they're lazy.
Based on what? Have you seen Scream 4, 5, 6, and 7?
Saw 4, 5, 6, and 7. Yes, I have, and
Yeah.
those are ones that I like. That's like the Costas Mandalore quadrilogy.
But are they well written? Can you really say that they're well written?
Like, no.
Are they in fact a good idea that writes itself and you have to work really hard to fuck them up? Or are they well written movies?
They have many redeeming qualities.
None of which are the writing.
Like, sure, but I love Feast, and a thing that Feast does really well is that it explores horror tropes and horror character tropes in a really interesting way
Sure.
by effectively not exploring them and reducing them to pure tropes, and seeing all of that potential of people that approach movies and have a sort of quintessential understanding of the genre in order to be
Yeah.
able to zero in on these tropes and exploit them for, comedy and horror and, a general interesting movie. Just sort of finding themselves in, like, do you know in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, right?
Mm.
Jason Segel's character is a guy that is a musician and writes musicals, and he's stuck making fucking sub Trent Reznor dirge music for crime procedural TV shows.
He has a fantastic life. I do not understand what's wrong with that man. Carry on. Yep.
But I feel like that is the same trajectory as Marcus Dunstan's had from, like, he was a horror fan that had interesting horror ideas and made an interesting horror film funded by fucking Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and a reality TV show. and then ended up making fucking sub-saw dirge screenwriting by numbers shit that, you know, that I do like, but whatever. Like, I like those crime shows, and that fucking Hans Zimmer groan music is a big chunk of those. So, like, you know, that's kind of the same trajectory that's happened here. And I mean, I wouldn't say no. Similar to when you're asked to be in RoboCop 3 and they give you that money, I wouldn't say no to the Saw franchise money. But
that's what I was going to say. Maybe he's just rich now and stopped trying. I mean, I can relate to that. If I got rich, I would stop trying.
Yeah. Get rich or die trying. Get rich,
stop trying. Get rich, comma, stop trying. That's my motto. That's why I'm not rich. That is a motto of somebody who is never going to be rich.
That's the motto of someone that's already stopped trying.
Exactly. I mean, it's entirely possible also that this film was really hard to make well. You know, logistically, it might have been a fucking nightmare. It might have been a completely different first draft, and what we got was just like two men weakened and weakened and weakened by a crushing studio system that refused to play ball and let them make the movie they wanted to make, and it just ended up wet. So there's that too. And yeah, maybe they just got rich and quit.
That's very possible. I think that like some fucking suit somewhere was like, it doesn't matter. We just want the traps. It doesn't matter if there's an explanation. Let's cut all that shit out so we can watch more traps.
And also, here's lots of factors that make it really hard for you to effectively pull off those traps. Like, here's the space that you have to shoot. Here's your budget. Here's your one enormous green light.
Like,
good luck.
Sure, but that doesn't excuse a bad script.
No.
Or not even a bad script. I think like the dialogue and the performances of said dialogue are as good as they're going to be. As good as they could be.
Yeah, the dialogue's not good, but it's not like... You're not cringing out of your skin the entire time people are speaking.
Yeah, it's just the lazy situational writing that's the issue. Yeah. And like you say...
They write themselves into a lot of corners they don't write themselves out of because I don't think they can be bothered. They're not put in a position where it's do or die right now. You've really written yourself into a corner. You've got to pull off something great. They're just like, oh, well, no one will notice. Move on.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a story of a screenwriter from... I watched a documentary that's called Tales from the Script, which is about like horror screenwriters. And Uwe Boll, the sort of notorious German modern garbage schlockmeister, commissioned this screenwriter to write a Blood Rain adaptation and basically gave her a day to write this script. And so she just like stayed up all night and wrote a 80-page screenplay, took it to Uwe Boll and was like, look, this is shit, but I only had a day to write it. And he was like, it's fine, we'll shoot it tomorrow. Like,
what?
So I wonder if like there's also potentially something like that at play here. Like they had a draft.
Maybe.
And they were like, we'll go into production tomorrow, take all of the Kramer stuff out. Like, let's just go.
I think if you gave me a day to write a script, I wouldn't stay up all night. I would just write it from 9 till 5 if you were lucky.
Well, maybe the call came in at lunchtime. Who knows?
Yeah, I'd say that's not enough time. I'm not staying up late. I'm tired.
The Blood Rain movie that script ended up becoming just not good. Just a not good movie.
I'm not surprised. Yeah. I'm not really surprised. Well, you better rate this son of a bitch, bud. People have got dinners to eat.
So, I mean, I give it, 15 pointlessly dangling fish hooks in a bathroom out of 29.
That's a really high rating, bud.
I mean, it's basically 5 out of 10. Because
yeah, I guess it's true.
5 out of 10 because it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's completely middle of the road. There is some cool stuff. There is some, like we said, the egregious stuff. The cat, no need for that. Let the cat escape. Yeah. Cut its tail off if you have to. Like,
if you absolutely must, you fuckers. Yeah.
But the cat can escape. Fuck off.
Yeah.
So that's my final thoughts, Sam, is don't bathe a cat in acid glue and then cut it in half and expect more than 5 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly. We have a hard line to draw in the sand here, and that's it. If you're gonna do that, you're gonna get that.
If you're gonna kill a cat, kill it quickly.
Yeah.
Don't
or just
make us watch a cat agonizing and then then
just
also
do it
kill it quickly.
in a way that, yeah, do it in a way that develops a relationship. Do it in a way that makes us feel sympathy and pathos for an important character.
Yeah.
Don't glue melt it and throw it through a choppy window.
Yeah, we didn't even see the cat before that. There's no cat.
What's the cat's name?
Exactly.
Fuck off, pal. Oh, I was going to be generous, but now you've put me right in the spot. Listen, I'm going to say that this is probably my all-time favorite slasher-adjacent home invasion, jewel heist, trap-based torture porn B movie. And I'm going to give it 3.5 Madeline Zimas out of 10 because I can't think of anything else. It's not a good film. It's a fucking waste of time. It looks like shit, but there's some entertaining moments, and I really think it has 2 passable performances and 1 excellent performance from Josh Stewart. So can't give it zilches on the board, but it's not a film I loved. So suck it at your own peril.
Yeah, I think like there's a bit of a cultural revisit happening of this.
Oh,
And people
why?
being like, oh, do you know what? This film was kind of panned for being
Green.
Saw derivative, boring piece of shit. And now people are like, hey, maybe this wasn't so bad. But maybe it was, and you just saw it in 2009, and now you're, fucking 39 years old.
Or maybe, like Jamie, you thought it was the sequel.
Yeah. I mean, the annoying thing about that is that I have to go and fucking watch the collection now, don't I?
You do,
to try
yeah.
and remember if it is the sequel that I'm thinking was actually good.
Because you're such a collector and a completionist. You have to.
Yeah. But don't
I
worry,
just wanna,
I'll burn the collector before I...
Yeah,
like,
of
I'll
course you
kill
will.
the collector. The collector will escape from the box and die in an electronic fucking TV bath. Like,
Yeah.
also, how does he know that that's about to happen? How does the collector
He
possibly
doesn't. It's
know?
flawed.
Oh,
Don't worry. It makes no sense. On the bright side, I have unriddled one mystery that we can fact check for ourselves right here and right now. Madeline Zima was indeed in Mr. Nanny with Hulk Hogan.
okay. So she was in Mr. Nanny and The Nanny.
Yeah, real nanny-heavy career way back in the 90s.
She was in a real nanny state back then.
Oh, here he is. You know who else was in that movie? This will brighten up your day.
Go on.
David Johansen.
Oh, really?
You just wouldn't think that, would you?
No. R.I.P. David
But he
Johansen. He died quite recently, didn't he?
Well, I mean, as recently as, we're talking about 2009 being a recent movie. Yeah, sure.
Do you know what isn't a waste of time, Sam?
Following us on all of the social media platforms you have access to, liking, rating, reviewing, subscribing, and making sure you've got automatic downloads and alerts turned on, and also subscribing to the Patreon for a meager $5 a month.
Yeah. What he said.
Good.
And tell your friends.
Oh, you got to tell your friends. Come on, you're already doing that. We don't need you to tell you to do that.
We don't need you to tell you to do that.
We don't need you to tell me to do that, because I'm already doing it.
We're back next week with another rip-off.
Great.
Tell you what's not a rip-off, our Patreon. We'll see you next week for more of the same.
Well done.